Jukebox was arguably one of the most ruthless characters that we came across on Power. We were introduced to Juke in Season 3, Episode 3 as a cop, and as I mentioned in my breakdown video for Kanan's character, that Power Book 3 Raising Kanan is going to be much more than a show about Kanan. We're also going to see the rise of Jukebox and possibly over the course of the show, see how she went from a dream to launching a music career to being a cop. We're also going to see how Jukebox became this ruthless character that we witnessed, showing in the very first moments that she wasn't afraid to kill even members of her own crew, as she gunned down one of her own crew members in the pharmacy shootout scene in Season 3. We had Tommy and Ghost mention that Jukebox was this crazy bitch, and that's coming from Tommy Egan himself. So you have Tommy, arguably one of the most ruthless characters on Power, calling Juke a crazy bitch. But this is something I'm going to touch on later on in the video. But she's not going to be a character without her problems. Jukebox, just like Kanan, is going to have a complicated path along with complicated relationships, especially with her father Marvin, and she's going to have some difficult choices to make. But we're going to look at Jukebox's character profile and break down what we know and what to expect from a character. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 Raising Kanan and Power Universe related over the coming months. But let's have a look at Jukebox's character profile, her family, characteristics and character description. She's Kanan's cousin, as we all know from Power, but we're going to be introduced to her father Marvin and uncle and aunt Lulu and Raquel. I don't believe we know much about Juke's mother, and that's something they may touch on in conversations in Raising Kanan. But from the family that we do know of, she's gonna have a real close relationship with Kanan. They've been close ever since they were young kids, and the conversation between them in Season 3, Episode 3 of Power was a real eye-opener to what we can expect from their relationship and what Jukebox is like as a character herself. And I'm going to come to their relationship with Kanan and Marvin in a bit more detail in a moment. But as with Kanan, we can't expect to see the same from Jukebox that we saw from her in Power. She was absolutely merciless, ruthless, she was a cold-blooded killer. These are some of the characteristics that we could even associate with Kanan that we did in my last video. There's some of the characteristics that we can associate with Jukebox as well. Some of the scenes that we got from Juke in Power were powerful to say the least. She brought this aura alongside her presence where she was feared, and once she made a plan such as killing Tariq, that's the plan that they were going to go with and stick with, warning Kanan not to go soft because she realized that he'd taken a liking to Ghost's son. The mission was to extort as much money as they could from Ghost and then kill both Ghost and Tariq, and they would have succeeded if it wasn't for the bond that Kanan built with Tariq. But as a young Jukebox, she's going to be quick-witted, fiercely independent and a strong teenage girl. A confidant of title character Kanan, they keep each other's secrets and always have each other's backs. Jukebox is determined to forge her own path, scrapping and hustling to make money to launch a music career. So Jukebox is going to be a hustler just like Kanan. Maybe it's met with some resistance from her father at first, because from the trailers and early teasers that we've got, we see Raquel hesitant to let Kanan in the game, and it's probably the same with Juke, with her being this character who wants to learn the way of the streets alongside Kanan. In the trailer we've never really got any action from Jukebox, but I believe she is a character that will be heavily involved in and around Kanan. The scene that we did get from Jukebox in the trailer was this, where she was being roughed up by someone, we don't know who just yet, but she's going to be a fierce character who takes no shit just like Kanan, and at some point she would have made the decision to move to Washington, where she became a member of the police force, abandoning her dream to launch her music career, something we learned about her during our conversation with Tariq, and one of the detectives, either Beck or Howard, could even play a role in this. But her relationship with Kanan is something that's going to be really strong. Juke was this person he turned to when he was almost burned alive by Ghost, and the conversation between the two revealed she was the first person who Kanan also called when he dropped his first body. So I assume at some point we're going to see Kanan drop his first body, and he's not going to call Raquel, he's not going to call Marvin or Lulu. The person he's going to call for help is Jukebox. Kanan was the first person to find out that Juke fucked with girls as well, so they're going to confide in each other, they're going to trust each other, have each other's backs and keep each other's secrets. I think we've even seen glimpses of this already through the trailers and teasers and the various character descriptions that have been released, especially with Davina. Davina is a character that Kanan is going to have a crush on, and I don't think Juke will be too keen on Davina because she seems like a character who's good at reading people. Her face reaction to seeing Davina in this scene tells us everything that we need to know. There are two characters that will probably clash at some point, so that's something to keep in the back of our minds as we move through the first season of Raising Kanan. But as I said, the Jukebox that we saw was good at reading people. She saw right through Kanan when he wasn't telling her the truth about what had happened to him and Sean. Jukebox said something similar to what Ghost said to Tariq after letting Tommy into their penthouse suite, which was the moment he let Tommy in, was the moment he was no longer his son and now his enemy. Juke said a similar thing to Kanan. The moment Sean chose Ghost over him, he became his enemy. So you have to sacrifice pawns for the greater good, and the chess analogy was backed up with chess moves from Jukebox. We saw some real maneuvers and chess plays from Juke to show she was a character that can think 2-3 moves ahead, planning the jewelry heist and sending the police off their scent, using her badge to her advantage to plan robberies and licks. So she's a character just like Kanan who is ready to take advantage of any given situation, no matter what the consequences. but she's going to be someone who, like Kanan, will be raw in training, learning the way of the streets, because she's a hustler. The hustler was born inside Jukebox, and Marvin is going to play a huge role in the path that Jukebox does go down. So let's talk about her relationship with Marvin Thomas. And it's interesting because Juke's actual name is Laverne Garner, not Laverne Thomas, and we don't know why they changed the name, but hopefully it's something they can answer during the course of the show. But her relationship is going to be complicated with Marvin because of his quick temper and loud personality, making it difficult to connect with Jukebox. Not that she would notice her attempts anyway, and that's taken from Marvin's character description, so we know their relationship is going to be complicated and probably not the best going into season 1 of Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. Juke will want more attention from her father, but probably won't receive the attention that she wants. I think we'll see Marvin strike a bond with Kanan more than he does with Juke, filling this father figure type of role for Kanan, but it doesn't mean that Juke won't take facets from Marvin's characteristics and personality. He's someone who's going to be really aggressive, cold and ruthless, and these are some of the characteristics that we could have associated with Juke in Power. So where did she get her ruthless traits from? Probably her father Marvin. Where could she have learned to be strategic and 3 moves ahead from? Most likely Lulu and Raquel, because they're going to be more of the decision makers. But with Jukebox, there's going to be more characters at play than just Kanan and Marvin. She's going to be romantically involved with Nicole Bingham. She's going to be a rich Upper East Side prep school student. Nicole catches Jukebox's eye at choir competition, sparking a romance that blossoms despite the girls' wildly different backgrounds. So maybe Marvin doesn't approve of a relationship with girls, or maybe this is one of the secrets that she keeps with Kanan away from Marvin. One thing we do know is this relationship didn't last because we saw with Candy in Power, so this is another relationship that's going to be complicated as time goes on. But let's talk about Ghost and Tommy and what was said by both Jukebox and Tommy, because Juke knows Ghost, a kid always with his head in his books but vicious with a piece, was how she described Ghost in a conversation with Kanan. And at some point during her childhood, she would have also met Ghost and Tommy, probably through Kanan, and known Ghost well enough to say he always had his head in his books but vicious with a piece. And it's true because Ghost had the opportunity to go to Choate, but he decided to stay because he couldn't leave Tommy. Now after the events that unfolded with Jukebox kidnapping Tariq, Ghost mentioned Jukebox to Tommy and he called her a crazy bitch, like she's someone not to be messed with and someone who you don't want to get on the wrong side of, and that's coming from Tommy Egan himself. I hope at some point during Raising Kanan that we do see Jukebox meeting Ghost and Tommy and seeing what went down for Juke to say that Ghost was vicious with a piece and for Tommy to say that she was a crazy bitch. One thing's for sure, Juke is definitely going to be crazy just like Tommy described her to be, but let me know what you guys think about Jukebox's character, because she's someone we've seen before in Power. We know what she was like, so now we're going to see how she became this cold-blooded character. Let me know what you guys think about her relationship with Kanan and Marvin as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of the characters. I don't think I have a particular favourite just yet, but Juke is someone I'm definitely going to enjoy watching as she grows and develops. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.